This here is the true formula to get your first 1,000 subscribers in 7 days, and thus exponentially grow your first YouTube channel. With this method, I got one of these, and it can also grow others. How many more channels from scratch without paying for advertising, without promotion on other social networks, all with organic traffic from this platform. I managed to generate all this amount of money without including sponsorships, which currently allows me to make a living from YouTube. And no, I am not going to sell you any course. I will give you everything I have learned for years, and with dozens of failures in between, for you totally free. And since I was little, I remember calling YouTube, but I never found the perfect video, the definitive video that would really teach me how to grow on this platform step by step. So that's why I decided to create it myself. I recommend that you stay until the end, because if you do, you will be part of the 1%. Pay close attention. To be able to grow on YouTube today, you have to follow a structure made up of a total of 8 phases without skipping any of them. We start with the first phase, number 1, niche. But what is a niche? This is basically the theme of what your channel is going to be about. There are thousands of niches that you could choose. For example, sports, health, travel, education, etc. I recommend that you make a list of the niches on topics that you like the most, and then we will discard between which ones would work and which ones would not. There are 2 fundamental elements that we must follow within the niche. The first we will see is the sub-niche along with the micro-niches. Why does this matter? It matters because we cannot start making the same videos as the largest YouTubers on the platform are already doing it. They already have an established audience, and you are not the reason why they have an advantage over us. And that is why we must be more strategic when we start with a channel from scratch, but so that you better understand the importance of sub-niches and micro-niches. I will use Luisito Comunica as the best example. Luis Comunica is currently in the travel niche, and at this moment he can talk about any country he really wants or any place in the world, because at this moment he already has a large base of followers. He has authority, and if he wanted to, he can completely cover the entire travel niche for his channel, and he can talk about all the countries he wants, such as Colombia, the United States, Chile, etc. But you need to start a YouTube channel. The correct thing would be to focus on the niche that is travel, and after limiting it even more to a sub-niche, for example, it would be a specific country such as France. Once the sub-niche has been chosen, we will have to dig a little more to find our micro-niche, which will finally be the place where we will create content, as it could be in this case Paris. Paris in this case would be the micro-niche of this gigantic niche. This one here, it should be our starting point to start creating videos and an audience. If you do it this way, you will be following the correct steps, and in the future, in this way, people could get to know you because you were a reference for everything that had to do with Paris, and in the future you could expand just like Luisito communicates by creating videos talking about other cities of France until you eat the entire travel niche of that country. This is how to grow correctly, little by little. This is the correct way that really exists today to find our first area of opportunity. But let's go with the next element. Study of this market is made up of supply and demand. This step is essential to be able to determine that the niche you chose will work, or if, on the contrary, it will not work. As I told you at the beginning, make a list of the niches that interest you the most. But in this point in the market study, you will realize if they are truly profitable or not. But before going to the methodology, let's understand this. The market has always been made up of 2 fundamental components. The first is the supply, and the second is the demand on YouTube. Exactly what happens, just that it is a digital market. Here the offer would be the channels or the creators who are already making videos, and the demand would be the type of content that people want to see or consume. I will give you an example. In other words, if people want to see the D-Day tomorrow kitten videos, your job as a creator will be to create kitten videos for that audience that wants to see precisely that. And because this is one of the most important and key points in the planning, because it matters a lot. Because if you make excellent videos, but on topics that there are no people who want to see it, your effort will be of no use. Let's see how to do a market study correctly. I'm going to teach you in this video 3 methods that I use. Method number 1, step 1, find a topic of interest related to your niche. It can be any word, key phrase, or any topic of interest that you think people may be interested in. Step 2, when you get the results, enter different channels with a size of approximately 100,000 subscribers. I do not recommend that you look for channels with more than this figure, because in those cases, analyze the number of visits can be really very diffuse when you enter these channels with approximately 100,000 subscribers. You should observe the number of visits they have in their latest videos. Step number 3, if you see that during the last 3 months there are videos on their channels that exceed 200,000 or 300,000 visits, I remind you on a channel with 100,000 subscribers, because this is Usually a positive indicator that there are many people interested in a market willing to want to consume content on those topics. From there, you can take some of those ideas so that you can make your own videos on something similar within your channel. Step number 3, if you want to be more specific with the market study, you can still enter the topic in the search engine as we already said in step 1, but you can also filter for this month from 4 to 20 minutes so that you do not get YouTube Shorts, and then in the visit count you will clearly have fewer results from the last 30 days, but it also usually works accurately because they are the topics that are of interest precisely in this same month. This is the key to finding current topics of interest that interest the user. Public, and in this way we will not waste our time making videos on old topics or that are already obsolete. Step number 4, a general rule is that the fewer subscribers the channels have, and the higher the number of views, the more accurate it will be. This is key for those who want stability within YouTube, but I repeat it only for those who are looking for stability. Because if you want to grow with immediate topics such as trends or news, it is also valid to learn to recognize when a channel is stable versus a fashion channel so that you can rethinking your strategy. For example, the fidget spinner was a temporary trend that clearly made many channels grow from the depths, but today it is an irrelevant and forgotten topic. On the other hand, a tutorial channel can generate content based on needs that never they go out of fashion. For example, how to fix your tie or how to fold a shirt. People will always continue searching for these topics. There is a word that defines profitability perfectly, and that is audience loyalty. There are niches where the audience is very loyal and almost they never stop consuming content about it. For example, niches such as Harry Potter is a classic film that to this day still has a large number of loyal followers, or as it could also be in the case of the Pokemon video game. They are relatively stable channels that will never have a very high peak of visits but not a downward peak of visits, and thus they create this constant interest that keeps them afloat in the long term. If you like the video, click on this since it is part 2, and if it still doesn't appear, subscribe so you don't miss it.